bit and wait for help.
Craig Roddy knocked that ball out as Parkett was shaken up on the play, and he's slow to walk toward the sideline for the Raiders. Doesn't look like it's anything serious, and you certainly hope it's not for the junior at 6'1", 205 pounds. They end up with a 7-yard gain after the fumble, and it's 2nd and 3. H.J. Adams moves to the tailback spot behind the fullback Stelz as we wait for Parkett to clear the field with the Rummel medical staff. Having done so, Wilson sets them down. Give it to Stelz. Stelz driving hard, and he's close to a first down. Needed the 5. He's at about the 5.5. Looks to be short, depending on the spot, by half a yard, maybe less. It will be 3rd down, and that margin, about a half a yard for the Raiders as Kevin Stelz got the carry.
He's kind of a Tom Routhman type of guy. He really brings it on, not afraid to hit. He's got a defensive mentality as a fullback. Good look at him right there, Ken. 5'9", 220. A powerful runner who'll just run right over you. And right now it's a 3rd and short, and the Raiders need this. You can bet that number 1 may dial his own number.
Parkett back in the game at the deep back spot. Everybody tight. Wilson keeps, spins, 1st and goal, Rummel. Wilson to about the 3. Harris Wilson, a very resourceful runner. He has really done the job this year in that department. 99 carries, 464 yards, and 6 touchdowns on the season.
And Darius Wilson, as we just alluded to, called his own number. He got the first down. It's now 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. And you bet that right now they're going to go to Parkett. With that massive line leading in front of him, outweighs Central Lafourche quite a bit.
Power I formation, quick snap. Richardson the carry. Richardson toward the end zone and stopped. And now breaks the tackle and scores. Ryan Richardson with great second effort into the end zone. Rummel has the lead.
And Ryan Richardson scores his 3rd touchdown of the campaign. Great gutty second effort. He's come back from a tremendous knee injury last couple of years, and an overachiever, hard worker. You can see right here, Ken just bangs over the left side of the line. Good blocking up in front of him by Hollinger and Graziano, and gets into the end zone, breaks the scoring drought right here on the first possession. The Rummel Raiders get on the scoreboard and looking for the extra point at the 7:33 mark in the first stanza.
Christian Louvier for the extra point out of the hole of Emile Maffei. Soccer-style kicker, great shot from the end zone and right down the middle and true, and a timeout on the field. 7:33 to play first quarter. Archbishop Rummel 7, Central Lafourche nothing. You're watching the high school game of the week on WHNO, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
Well, you made it through school, through labor. You made it up the ladder. And now you're supposed to make dinner. Piccadilly makes it from scratch, so you don't have to. Fresh, wholesome food that's delicious and ready when you are. Like our Dilly Dinner for 2 feature, under $10. When you don't have time to make it yourself, make it Piccadilly.
After the excellent punt return by Pat Lamey, the Raiders are able to cash in. 27-yard drive culminates with a 3-yard touchdown run by Ryan Richardson. 7-0 Rummel. Louvier to kick it off. And the Trojans with twin receivers deep, Sylvester and Griffin. Louvier this time short and returnable from the 14. That's Bauer upfield near the 20 and down. Good coverage by the Raiders. As Rummel was there. First man there for Rummel, 43, Jonathan McQuarrie, and there's a good look at the Raiders. Ben Brulette as well, the junior. And the Raiders do a good job on coverage. Central Lafourche with its second possession, starting near their 20-yard line.
And Ken, you know, you see Bauer back there, shows what kind of athlete he is. He has an 18.5-yard average per kickoff return. He was a fullback in 97. As you mentioned earlier, he can play both sides of the ball. He's in at fullback through the night.
Sylvester cuts back with room. He's loose. Sylvester with a block. He might go down the sidelines, and Roussel is able to drag him down at the 21-yard line. Terrell Sylvester from 121 to the opposing 21. Big play, Trojans, 1st and 10.
And Sylvester can break it, Ken. We talked about it. He's a 4'4" guy in the 40. He loves to cut it back. He does it very well. Shows you the mark of a good vision back right here. Look, good cut right here. plants and cuts. His shoulders are going the right direction. Cuts against Wolf's not a chance to catch him. And good block right there. And Sylvester is skating down the sidelines. A potential touchdown saved by Roussel.
57 yards to the 22 officially. Sylvester on the cutback again. Sylvester's chopped down near the line of scrimmage by Carlos Velasquez, the outstanding senior cornerback. Jay Roth looking on and obviously knows he's in a tussle tonight.
You got two very high-powered offenses that stay on the ground. This will be a fast-moving game right here. Look, and I tell you, this is very smart by Velasquez. He just filled his lane, stayed at home. Had he not done that, Ken, Central Lafourche would be kicking the extra point right now. So good play right there, and Rummel's going to try to spread it out and try to cut back the lanes of Sylvester.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 9, the 21-yard line. Off of the fake, Carlisle has time. Now he'll run, and that's a mistake. Down he goes, lost. Chris Clark has him back at the 28-yard line. That's a loss of 7.
Central Lafourche, good look right there. At Clark, as you mentioned, Central Lafourche doesn't throw it very much. They stand at multiple eye. They go to the shotgun once in a while. But a little rollout, probably looking for James Duplantis, the tight end. You see his number called a couple of times tonight. Now Central Lafourche looking at 3rd and long after that excellent run by Sylvester.
Second tackle for a loss already by Clark. It's going to be 3rd and 15. Make it 3rd and 16 at the 28. Looking to throw a screen. Carlisle does. That's Bauer. Gets one block, but playing off of the block, making an excellent play. Michael Dubuque stopped the play. Brandon Dabduke kissed him down near the line of scrimmage, but Dubuque really made that play.
Well, you know, you can't blame Rowdy Chasson. Was a good block. I'd have to say Bauer just cut the wrong way, and had he cut the other way, Michael Dubuque cut the outside lane, and Dubuque just held up his blocker, Chasson, and made the stop. It shows you what kind of athlete Bauer is. He plays middle linebacker, and you can see he gets some passes on the outside and run it up the field.
This is Aaron Foray. Tries their long field goals, and he'll try this one from 45-yard lines left hash mark. Wind a bit of a problem. Good snap, ball down. Kick in the air will never get there. Partially blocked. Contact with the kicker, but partially blocked, and therefore no roughing of the kicker. And getting to it was David Kirkley, the linebacker, and the Raider faithful are pleased.
David Kirkley did a great job running in, rushing the punter, running the place kicker, and then not allowing him time to set up and kick. He might have got a hand on the ball as well. Now Rummel gets the ball at their own 20-yard line, and both series, Central Lafourche could not produce points, but a little more production this second series.
Excellent officiating crew from the New Orleans area tonight. The referee, Ross Smith, Byron Lockhart, the umpire, Mike Broussard, the line judge, Wayne Winkler, the head linesman, the back judge, L.J. Strohmeyer, the game clock operator, Lard Shelley, and Harry Baylor, the 25-second clock operator, as H.J. Adams is spilled at about the 23-yard line. Adams has been terrific for the Raiders. Shane Este makes the tackle from free safety. After a gain of about 3, it will be 2nd and 7. Adams has just taken over offensively for Rummel. There's been no better producer in a skilled position in the metro area over the past month, Renee.
114 yards against Brother Martin last week. 640 yards. Done an outstanding job. Ken, 8 touchdowns, 7.7 yards every time he touches the ball.
From the 23, 2nd and 7. The motion man is Stelz. This is Adams. This is H.J. across the 25 out to the 28. Lost the ball. It's loose, and Rummel again recovers its own fumble, it appears. Or have they? David Myers, the tight end, falls on it. That's the second loose ball that the Raiders have had, and the second time they've managed to recover it.
Central Lafourche is really hitting defensively up front. You know, there is a mismatch up front. The size advantage goes to Rummel, but good play right here. Travis Douglas strips and almost caused a turnover, Ken, but the Raiders are lucky to get the ball back.
It's 3rd and 4 at the 26 with receivers to either side. And the option play, and the pitch to Adams, and he slips as he tried to cut back, loses a yard, and there's Travis Douglas again, and the Raiders must punt the football.
Good play by Travis Douglas, an all-district performer in 1997. He'll play strong safety on the next level if he plays anywhere, but he plays a lot like a strong safety in this scheme of things. He's called an outside linebacker. Good fill right here. Look, he cuts the outside, plays outside in. That's the way you play defense against the option.
Murphy will punt it away for the Raiders. Patrick Murphy, big rush, and it's blocked. It's blocked, and this could be a score, and it will be for Central Lafourche. Touchdown, Trojans. Number 31, Alex Darda, blocked it, recovered it, scores, and the Trojans are a point away from tying this one.
Good special teams play. Ken shows that you need more than offense and defense. Special teams by the Trojans come through. And now with an opportunity to tie this game up, and this could be an entirely different game. Central Lafourche has been shut down offensively for the most part. Coming right through. Look at this, right through the middle. Big, wide open gap. Makes coaches lose their hair or turn gray early, but just an outstanding play by Dunn and score. Blocks it and scores on his own.
Aaron Foray for the tie, and he got it through. Timeout on the field. 3:05 to play first quarter. The battle is on. Central Lafourche 7, Rummel 7. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
The WHNO High School Game of the Week is brought to you by Lamarck Motor Company, Piccadilly Cafeteria, River Parish Disposal, Radiophone, Sam Yonter, Attorney at Law, Archbishop Rummel High School, John Curtis Christian School, P.F. Chang's China Bistro, Prime Equipment Company, Melorine Seafood and Po' Boys, New Life Center, Love That Smoothie, and WHNO TV 20.
For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. A message brought to you by Christian attorney Sam Yonter, handling personal injury and consumer protection cases. Call Sam Yonter at 1-800-45-JUSTICE.
Someone once said that a problem recognized is a problem half solved. The New Life Center recognizes that battered women, homeless families, abused and abandoned children, senior citizens, all need help. New Life provides housing, child care, and supportive services for these families, but we need your help. Get involved. Learn more about New Life. These are the lives that you'll be touching. Please call now and discover how far a little or a lot can go.
A gaping hole. Looks like the Grand Canyon right here, Ken. Nobody touched him. Good hustle, but no one touched him. It's kind of easy. You can almost say Uri could do that, but probably couldn't move that fast. But Dunn, an outstanding effort and made the touchdown. Well, I tell you, tip of the hat to that young man.
Adams from the 10 to the 25 to the 30, and brought down by Douglas near the 35-yard line with a 25-yard return. Rummel on offense for the third time, tied at 7. One of the prettier sights here tonight on what is a beautiful night as we speak. Threat of rain in the area, but we haven't had any of that yet, fortunately. And Patrick Murphy really had no chance on that play to get that punt off. Parquette back in the game. They alternate tailbacks. Parquette one series, Adams another. Adams is uncovered over in the slot position, and finally it's picked up by Central Lafourche. They really don't respect the Rummel passing game. That's obvious. Parquette is going to try to bounce it outside. Evades one, and Bauer has him, and now he's dragged down after a 2-yard loss. Another 2-yard gain. The Central side wanted an illegal block for a crackback. Not forthcoming.
And you can see right here, look, you can see if it was a crackback. I don't know, Ken. Kind of a tough call, but you see Bauer really shut it down. And really great pursuit effort by the Central Lafourche Trojan defense.
Bauer's a terrific football player. This game brought to you in part by River Parish Disposal, the only independent, full-service, locally owned and operated waste disposal company in Greater New Orleans. Commercial, industrial, residential, and compact rental. Sales service offered at a savings of 25%. Call River Parish Disposal. Find out how you can save on your disposal needs. 738-7700. Adams wide open. He has it. H.J. Adams tripped up at the 11-yard line. Big play. Wilson to Adams, and the Raiders are threatening once more.
And Chris Lagarde, the left cornerback for the Trojans, saved a touchdown. And H.J. Adams showed that speed getting out in the moonlight. And Darius Wilson shows he can do more than just run the ball. Puts a little air underneath the Ken and lets H.J. Adams just explode and run underneath the football. Wide open to Lagarde. Makes the tackle. A diving effort right here. Saved a short touchdown.
50 yards officially to the 13, and he did save a touchdown. 1st and 10. The Central Lafourche 13 under 2 minutes to play in the quarter. And Parquette bouncing it outside behind. A good block by Hollinger is inside the 10. He's down near the 8-yard line before he's brought down by Brad Bro for Central Lafourche, the outstanding weak side linebacker. He's not big, but he's good. And Parquette is able to pick up about 5 on the play to the 8. It will be 2nd down and 5. Raiders threatening. 1:20 and counting first quarter. Parquette has had some good games this year. There's the clock here at Joe Yenny. 111 yards against Salmon. Maybe the best defense Rummel's faced this year. 2nd and 4 the 8. Excellent block on that play by Hollinger. Parquette inside. Churning to the 5. Holding on and dragging him down finally for Central Lafourche. Roddy Ponson, the 295-pound right defensive tackle. Parquette looks to be about a yard short, just inside the 5. It will be 3rd down for the Raiders. We'll call it a short 2. Line of scrimmage just inside the 5. We just got finished mentioning that Central really didn't look like they respected the Rummel pass. They didn't even play a slot receiver on the previous run, and voila, right away, Rummel goes deep.
Well, they're really giving Rummel all they can handle. We're trying to run the ball here deep in the red zone.
From the 5 on 3rd and 2. Stretch play left. Parquette bounces it outside to the end zone. Darren Parquette from 5 yards out, and the Raiders are back on top.
Just bounced it outside, left a big lane open for him, and he ran it in for the touchdown. Second score. The Rummel Raiders have been very, very productive thus far. 3 possessions, 2 scores, and you can see Parquette. This is their bread and butter. They run behind those massive offensive linemen, and great block right there, Ryan Richardson. I'd like to say I taught that young man how to block, but he's really an overachiever, Ken. Really was a pleasure to coach young men like that. What a good block allowed Parquette to get into the end zone.
Louvier out of the hold of Maffei, and Christian Louvier has it through. 17 seconds to play first quarter. It's Rummel 14, Central Lafourche 7. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
Preparing students for the 21st century, Archbishop Rummel High School is committed to academic excellence in a friendly environment. With a network of state-of-the-art computers that includes computerized writing and biology labs, Archbishop Rummel equips young men grades 8 through 12 with an education they need to succeed in the technologically advanced future. The campus, located in Metairie, provides students with a safe and friendly environment in which to learn. Parents will enjoy the fact that Archbishop Rummel's location is convenient and easily accessible, even during peak traffic hours. Archbishop Rummel's belief in the well-rounded student is exemplified by its outstanding achievements in academics as well as extracurricular activities. Archbishop Rummel challenges its students to seek excellence in all aspects of high school life with care and concern for each individual student. For the ultimate high school experience, choose Archbishop Rummel and ensure your son's educational success.
17 seconds to play in the first. Rummel back on top, 14-7. And an impressive drive for the Raiders.
It was, in fact, 65 yards in 5 plays, 2:40 off the clock. Good look back, Parquette. He got the Raiders on top with a scamper in the end zone. 17 seconds left to go. The Raiders on top, 14-7. Ken, we've got a barn burner here.
Sylvester and Griffin are deep, and Louvier hits this one out of the building. Second touchback for Louvier. That's quite a weapon they possess. Central Lafourche ball at the 20, 17 seconds to play here in the first quarter, and Rummel with a 14-7 lead. And the winner of this game goes on to play the winner of the Lafayette-Destrehan game. This game is brought to you in part by J. Wilton Jones Company, distributors of hardware supplies for commercial and residential usage. For your sheet metal, copper, aluminum, and stainless steel needs, remember J. Wilton Jones Company at 2420 Piedmont Street in Kenner. Thank you, Ross. It's an inside joke. From the 20, this is Sylvester on the cutback to the 25, has about 5 tough yards, and very obviously Central Lafourche came in with a game plan on the cutback. We'll talk more about that. Kirkley made the stop. First quarter comes to a close here. So at the end of one quarter from Joe Yenny Stadium, our score, Archbishop Rummel 14, Central Lafourche 7. Well, the Trojans came in, Renee, obviously with a game plan to cut back against the excellent pursuit of Rummel, and it's worked pretty well thus far.
Really did a good job filling those lanes. Both defenses have really pursued the ball and showed some outstanding effort, and this game is far from over. You see a few more turnovers, at least fumbles before the game is over, because both teams are going for the ball, trying to strip. You know, this kid, Sylvester, reminds me of a guy who played for Central Lafourche back in 82-83. You remember Jamie Lawson? Kind of brings back memories of the past.
Yeah. I love the way you come up with those names, man. This game is brought to you in part by Prime Equipment Company, distributors of man lifts, tower generators, scissor lifts, and more for commercial and industrial contracting. For all your lifting needs, remember Prime Equipment Company. The Trojans play at 2nd and 6 at their 24. A short 6 at that. And motion. And Sylvester on the cutback again. David Kirkley wrapping him up with help from Michael Dubuque at about the 28. Give him 4. It will be 3rd down and 2. Sylvester came in, 107 carries, 618 yards, 7 touchdowns. They line him up both at fullback and tailback. But he's been the deep back thus far tonight.
And you see Griffin back there as well, number 42. What Central Lafourche is going to do, Ken, is they're going to get that fullback involved in the flat a little bit and make the linebackers spread out a little bit and open up the lanes up the middle. If the linebackers have to go with the fullback, the safeties are going to fill for the Rummel defense.
From the 28 on 3rd down and 2. Sylvester again. He's hit and dropped. Short of a first down. Perhaps a yard, that's all. Stuck pretty good there, and stuck by a pretty good football player, Brandon Dabdoob. Remember that name. He's going to be a blue chip prospect a year from now. 6'2", 275, 3rd in the team on tackles, leads them in sacks and in tackles for loss.
350-pound bench, 500 squat. He's the load, Ken. He's got 7 sacks, 4 coming in the last 3 games, and he really does an outstanding job moving that 275-pound frame. The coach takes the 40 in about 4.9.
And you saw Chris Clark there as well, who continues to stand out for the Raiders. Bonvillain is deep to punt it. Lamy, who had an excellent return earlier, stands at his 40. Wind at his back now. Sailing effort will bounce. This is not Lamy, but Roussel deep inside the 30. Turns out to be a terrific punt. We'll be down at the 25-yard line. 46 yards and no return. That's a terrific net. NFL kickers would love to have that. Raiders on offense, 10:25 to play second quarter, leading the Trojans 14-7.
Well, I'm kind of waiting for Wilson to get more involved in the running game. He launched a long toss to H.J. Adams, but Darius Wilson was our player of the game a couple of weeks back against Jesuit. He can do it all. He's only a sophomore, Ken, but a great student, a 3-point GPA, and he just really absorbs a lot from that J. Roth offense.
Adams, the tailback behind Richardson, twins to the right side for Rummel. This is Richardson with a hole. Ryan Richardson breaking tackles across the 35, has a first down to about the 37. Well blocked play, and the Raiders move the chains once more, and Richardson has been featured early on in this game. He had a touchdown against Carver, 4 carries, 15 yards against Brother Martin a week ago.
What a courageous young man, Ken. You know, he's had reconstructive knee surgery as a sophomore, and doctors didn't give him much chance to play any more football, and I guess he's kind of proved them wrong, didn't he?
Excellent block by Mario Loyacano, the 300-pound sophomore, as Adams gets the pitch. Following Stelz, good block. Adams into the secondary. First down, Rummel across midfield to the Central Lafourche 48. The Raiders are really starting to move people up front with that massive offensive line and getting some good lead blocks by the fullbacks, Richardson and Stelz.
Yeah, they do a great job. They're like offensive linemen in the backfield. Of course, the Raiders don't need much size. They outweigh the Central Lafourche defensive line by probably 50 pounds per man or more. In some cases, 80 pounds. But, you know, they're just pounding and pounding and pounding away. The linebackers will take most of the tackles for the Trojans because the defensive linemen are going to wipe out the leads.
To the 49, 14 yards on the carry. And that will be encroachment. You saw Crescione anticipating the snap count. John was just a little bit premature.
Prior to the snap, We have a dead ball, encroachment on the defense. Repeat, first down.
Well, Ross Smith does a great job. One of the better referees. We've got quite a crew here tonight. Some outstanding officials. Lloyd Shelley's been doing this for a long time extremely well. Byron Lockhart, excellent. Mike Broussard, Wayne Winkler, Gary Baylor, my good friend, and L.J. Strohmeyer is one of the best, does Conference USA games as well. First and 5, the 44, and the pitch to Adams. Flag down, Adams in trouble. Adams shakes 1, shakes 2, out of bounds near the line of scrimmage, but hold everything with a flag down at the line of scrimmage. This will likely go against the Raiders and negate the previous penalty. It's holding against Rummel.
Where's the end of the run?
Penalties have been a problem for the Raiders throughout the course of the season. Not as much in recent weeks, and something they really have to iron out to be successful in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you know, there's never a good time to have a penalty, but sometimes they've come at the worst times to wipe out big plays, Ken, and they need to cut back on that. There's no place for penalties in the playoffs. You can really wipe out a game and really hurt you. You know, everybody said good teams, the pretenders have been eliminated from play once you get to the playoffs.
We have holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Just an illustration about the problems they've had with penalties. Rummel in 9 games, 56 penalties, 508 yards, and their opposition only 46 penalties and just 307 yards. That's 201 yards less. A major concern for Jay Roth, who does an excellent job. Now it's first down from the 45. 16 yards to go. Raiders in their own territory, leading 14-7. And the keeper by Wilson. Wilson with room, 50-45, cuts back, and near the 40 is Darius Wilson. You hear the terminology, good feet. Well, this kid has good feet, and he has 14 on the play.
And he's got good cutting ability, too, Ken. You can see, look, he just comes right off of Hollinger, the cavity he just created. Right there, good block is by the center as well, Hurley. And just, look, good blocks downfield. Good block right there by Nieto.
Mario Loyacano is having some first half.
Right.
He pancaked another defender. That's about the 3rd time that's happened.
Only a sophomore, too, Ken.
2nd and 1, the 40. And Richardson shakes a tackle, gets a first down. Ryan Richardson running more impressively tonight than we've seen him all season long. John Crescione makes the stop, but the Raiders move the chains once more on the gain of 5.
And, you know, every run that Richardson is making, he's taking a hit. So he's making 4 or 5 yards every time he gets hit. Ken, that's the mark of a good back. Not how many yards you gain, but how many yards you gain after you've been hit. And you can see a good wipeout block behind him. Lloyd Connor, once again, the 6'2", 300-pound sophomore. Boy, he's a powerful, powerful blocker. And he 330-pound bench press. Kind of tough man on man.
From the 35-yard line, the stretch play, Adams looking for the cutback, not there, shakes a tackle, now cuts back. Nice run by H.J. Adams to the central Lafourche 27. He has about 9 on the play, and there wasn't much there for H.J., but that's what he's been doing, inspiring this Rummel offense.
Well, you know, Ken, there was so much the Raider offensive front is just leaning right here. You look, number 64, 6'5", 370. Kind of evens things off a little bit. But H.J. Adams gets outside like a host of white jerseys. Good block down the field. Allows him to scoot up through a hole for a nice pickup. 2nd down and short.
Almost starting to get underneath those central Lafourche pads with those blocks. And when they do with that size, it's going to be tough. 2nd down and 2, a gain of 8 officially. This is Adams. H.J. with a flag down, hold everything, has a first down, but again, hold everything. It's about 3 to the 25, but this will likely come back. This will be holding against Rummel once more.
Go 62.
Now you can hear right there, it's on the center, Bruce Hurley, the senior. Missed time earlier this year due to an injury. They're happy to have him back. Lost Jason Bone, a fine guard, to injury earlier this year. That's why the sophomore Loyacano was in there as Jay Roth looks on. Another major penalty here.
We have holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
To the 38-yard line. This will make it 2nd down and 12. 7:19 and counting first half. 14-7 Rummel. Fullbacks alternate for Rummel. Wideouts alternate a lot as well. Nieto and Brissett to the left. Off of the fake, Wilson looking. Wilson throwing over the middle and caught. First down, Rummel. That's Joey Nieto. Excellent throw, Darius Wilson, to about the 23, has 15.
Good crossing pattern by the senior Nieto, and Great place for a pass right here as Wilson drops back. A second pass complete. So he's done it all with his feet and with his arm. Dropping back, good protection in the pocket. Not much pressure. Wilson plenty of time to dial right in the middle and hit Nieto in stride. Kind of let it bounce a little bit, but did find the handle, pick up the first down, and good tackle right there by Travis Douglas.
Douglas has had a good first half defensively. Nieto left and Brissett to the right for Rummel. And the option play, Wilson in traffic on the cutback, in trouble. Shakes one, cuts back, gets a yard. He did a lot to get a yard, didn't he? Darius Wilson showing some resourcefulness there. Being helped up by Douglas. And Darius gets a positive yard or two out of what could have been a negative play.
You know, one thing that they really stress over here with the Trojan defense, the defensive ends, Brescione and...
there's Renee. We found him.
That's me 5 years ago, Ken. And Guidry along with Jeremy Bro, you do not have to make the tackle to do your job as defensive end. Just turn it back. Good speed to the corner. And Guidry also with good pursuit and stayed at home, made the tackle from his left defensive end position.
2nd and 9 from the 22. And this is Adams with a hole, crossing the 20. Down near the 15 is H.J. Adams with a gain of 7. It's going to be 3rd down, perhaps a short 3, a long 2. And Rummel not known for passing, but if you don't play them honestly, they can hurt you.
Yeah, 2 for 2, 68 yards. So Wilson is perfect thus far. You can see giving the ball to H.J. Adams. Good crease right here as Lloyd Connell pulls, helps out. Well, he actually helped on the tackle.
He was looking for somebody to block. There wasn't anybody there.
So he put his shoulder. You know, those linemen, they have to hit somebody in every play or they have to run laps. So he just put his shoulder into Adams.
3rd, a long 2. Near the 15-yard line, and this is the fullback. He's got nothing, and Central Lafourche with a big stop as Richardson got nothing to the 15, and it's 4th and 2, and Jay Roth will have to ponder whether to try the field goal or go for it here. Tough decision. Louvier has the leg, while the wind is in his face.
And Courtney Smith gets number 64. Look at this, 6'5", 370. Kenny, that's like letting a bus fall on top of you. He was in a... You know, a lot of teams looking at him in offense. Just turned 17 years old. Southern Mississippi. A lot of schools are looking at him. Boy, he's going to make somebody a mammoth catch.
Tough to move. It's 4th and 2.5. They're going for it. And the option play and the pitch. And Adams with one block. He's going to score. Stelz with a great block. H.J. Adams, 16 yards. Rummel increases its lead.
And they just gave H.J. Adams the option to run inside or outside. Stelz took it inside, cut him back, turned him with his pass. Good blocking. And he allowed H.J. Adams the lane outside. You just have to watch right here as H.J. Adams just reads his block. Stelz not sure. Look, he just turns him. He just turns him right here. That's good blocking. You know, H.J. Adams had the option to turn inside outside. You're going to make that quick decision. Way to go, and he made the right one.
I reiterate, these Rummel fullbacks, both of them, have just done a terrific job lead blocking here in the first half. Adams now 7 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Louvier trying to tack on point number 21, and he's got it. 4:15 to play first half. Archbishop Rummel 21, Central Lafourche 7. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
You're unique, right? Then why take vitamins that aren't made for your specific lifestyle? Did you know that proper nutrition may play a role in your children's behavior at school? Are you aware that some prescription medicines can cause the body to lose important vitamins and minerals? Did you know that maintaining good bone health requires more than taking antacids? Do you really trust your nutritional health to the advice of a clerk at the mall? The Wellness Store can help you take control of your health. Visit the Wellness Store now for a nutritional consultation. A Wellness Store professional will take the time to provide you with up-to-date information. You'll find out which nutritional products are right for you. Deciding to take control of your health is the first step. The second is to visit your Wellness Store. The final step is to start feeling the best you can. It's really as easy as ABC.
Take control of your health. Visit the Wellness Store, 5101 West Esplanade in Metairie, or call 888-3077.
The WHNO High School Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors, by Prime Equipment, by Piccadilly Cafeterias, by Love That Smoothie, and by J. Wilton Jones Company. Raiders take it to the house again, overcome 2 holding penalties in the process. And J. Roth breathes a sigh of relief. Louvier again bombs one. Look at this kid kick. Doesn't matter which way he kicks. 3 out of 4 touchbacks. And again, boy, you really take skill position players out of the mix when you can do that on the high school level.
Yeah, you really do. And you don't take a lot of schools. You can't take kickers for granted anymore. You know, a lot of major colleges would be rated higher if they had better kickers. No names mentioned here, but well, he's one guy that could be a big catch for someone on the next level.
Just what are you trying to say?
I won't mention anybody up the road, 90 miles up the road.
How's that Rummel fight song go, by the way? From the 20-yard line.
They fighting tigers.
Off of the fake, Carlisle. Stopping, looking, throwing. Big hit. Big hit supplied. That's Jeremy Roussel. As Claudel Collins tried to look it in, Roussel really peppered him. 5'10", 180, a senior, 42 tackles on the year. Jeremy missed a little bit of time due to injury, and they're sure happy to have him back.
And Cardell trying for his 5th catch of the season, and he's hearing whistles and bells right now. Good luck at Coach Bro. Boy, he's done a great job, and he's been here for a long, long time.
Boy, Randy Bro is part of a great tradition at Central Lafourche. It's been a storied program with many great players. I can't help but think of Tom Hodson when I think of the Trojans, as Carlisle in the flat overthrows Sylvester. Pretty good pursuit and coverage by Michael Dubuque. It will be 3rd down, 10 yards to go, 4:03 to play in the half.
You know, Ken, you mentioned him. Jimmy Goodrum came from there, went to LSU. Chuck Rogers, big fullback, went to Nichols. Jamie Lawson. They think this kid, Sylvester, may be as good or better in the long run than Jamie Lawson, who also played at LSU. Nichols State, went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he's got a little different runner. Jamie was about 240. And you put in front of him the blocking of Chuck Rogers, about 6'1", 250. Pretty potent attack at that time.
3rd and 10 from the 20. Counter play, Sylvester. He loses the ball. Looks like he fell on it, though. Looks like he fell back on it and preserves the turnover, but Central Lafourche will have to punt the football, as the counter play did not fool the Raiders, and almost starting to take over up front.
Yeah, right here, going one way, misdirection, and Big Courtney's leading it. He had the ball knocked loose of him. Well, you don't want to let Sylvester get loose with that 4.4 speed. He showed what he can do in the first quarter. He can kill you.
David Norman, the 6', 220-pound senior defensive end, with a penetration, knocked it loose for Rummel. Here's Bonvillain to punt it away. Twin safeties for Rummel. Blamey and Velasquez. He got it off end over end. Takes a Central Lafourche bounce, and this is going to roll toward the 40 and be down right there at the 40-yard line. An effective punt to be sure. 41 yards, no return. Rummel good field position at their own 40. 3:11 to play first half. Raider band getting ready to take the field at halftime here. P.F. Chang's China Bistro at the corner of Veterans and Severn and Metairie has it all. Service, location, ambiance, and most importantly, quality food. Let P.F. Chang's knowledgeable staff make recommendations, share some dishes, and savor a total dining experience. P.F. Chang's China Bistro open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. weekdays and 11 a.m. to midnight Friday and Saturday at the corner of Veterans Boulevard and Severn. It's my favorite restaurant. From the 40 on 1st and 10. Good fake by Wilson. Down he goes. Sack. Great penetration. Crescione is there to collect the sack, and Central Lafourche wasn't fooled at all by the good play fake of Wilson.
And he's a better defensive end than one of the best ones in the district, Crescione. You know, good coverage downfield. Did not allow Darius to set up and really spot anybody as David Myers was streaking down the field. Look right here, Travis Douglas right in his face. Crescione with the assist to Pausson, but engulfed in a sea of white for a big loss, 2nd down.
And 17 yards to go from the 33 with 2:30 to play in the half. I formation this time. This is Parquette. Darren Parquette running hard to the 40, has about 7. Ball comes out, but it's late. The flag goes down late as well. Flag thrown near the end of the play. They're going to wave it off. Ross Smith says no penalty. And we're always grateful for that. Keeps the game moving. It's a gain of 6 to the 39, and it's 3rd and 11 for the Raiders.
And here you go, a little handoff to Parquette. Good block by Stelz. And Lloyd Connor right there, a good lead block, allows him to cut Parquette to cut off of him for a nice little 6-yard scamper.
3rd and 11, 39. Darius Wilson signals for a timeout. Timeout Rummel, 1:58 to play first half. Our score, Rummel 21, Central Lafourche 7. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
When you're born, your cells are 95% magnesium and only 5% calcium. As you age, the cells become 95% calcium and only 5% magnesium. Now, the most important thing you can take to reverse that aging process is mineral rich, highly absorbable, beautiful tasting with all of the right minerals in it and the bad minerals taken out. That's right, aluminum, cadmium, lead, arsenic have all been taken out. Don't accept counterfeits. Don't accept substitutes. Get the best. Mineral rich. It has 1,000 micrograms of B12 in every single ounce, plus all of the minerals that are good for your body with the bad ones taken out. It's called Mineral Rich. Don't accept substitutes. Don't accept counterfeits.
Mineral Rich, the finest mineral product on the market, is $30 a bottle or $250 for a case of 12. Call today, 1-800-965-2345.
1:58 to play in the half. 21-7 our score. Rummel with the lead. Raiders at the line of scrimmage. 3rd 11, 39-yard line. Wilson pump fakes. He's in trouble. Goes deep down the sideline. Jump ball. Intercepted. Intercepted by the Trojans at about the 34-yard line, and coming up with a pick is Chris Lagarde, the cornerback. He played it beautifully, and Central Lafourche comes up with their first turnover of the game.
And Chris Lagarde saved a touchdown earlier in this game. Comes up with a big pick right here. Boy, he really played this well. Really played it well. Kept on the inside of the wide receiver. This is the way you play this. Came away with the pick. He left Adams nowhere to go, and he had the upper hand on this pass reception.
Big play by the Trojans, down 14, 1:48 to play in the half, and time to get something done. Out of the shotgun now is Carlisle. First time we've seen that. In trouble and sacked. Ball comes loose and still loose. Rummel has it. Raiders get it right back and gain a lot of yards in the process, and that's David Kirkley who falls on it for Rummel. Off of the sack by Amin. Face mask, however, on Rummel. This will be a face mask against Rummel, and that is huge. And we'll see if it's post-possession or not. We don't know yet. They're discussing that as we speak. Doubt seriously that it was post-possession with the ball loose. So they're discussing this as we speak. Big call forthcoming in this game.
Change of possession, so we're going back to the previous spot.
It is a change of possession, so you go back to the previous spot. Central Lafourche will keep the ball, no turnover.
We have a face mask on the defense. Due to the change of possession, we go back to the previous spot. 15-yard penalty, first down.
This is a huge turnaround. To midfield, first down Trojans, 1:33 to play in the half.
Big block, a good sack by Amin, his 4th of the season. Look at this right here. Amin just really engulfs him, forces the ball loose. A face mask will give the ball right back to Central Lafourche, and a great opportunity at the midfield stripe.
And a great call by this crew, as our replay showed you very clearly that the quarterback's face mask was grasped on the sack. That's a great job by our guys to capture that. These guys do an excellent job. Our people do, and so do the guys. And you can see it right here, Renee, very clearly.
Yes, yes, look at this. His head jerks right there. Good play. Ross Smith is right there, and you know, Ross does a good, you know, I hate to say anything nice about Ross, we both know him, but he is one heck of an official. And he'll smile when he sees his replay.
You know, and that's really not the fault of Amin on that play.
No,
You're just reaching,
just an aggressive,
try to get a guy, just happens that way.
Yes, aggressive play, Ken.
Here's Jason, who's a very fine football player. 40 tackles,
Great
3 fumble recoveries on the year from midfield, Central Lafourche. Out of the shotgun, in the flat. There's Sylvester isolated. Makes a move, and an excellent defensive play is made by Jason Maenza. That's man-to-man right there, and Jason made an outstanding play. The senior safety 37 tackles coming in, and that's a good play and a timeout taken by the Trojans with 1:11 left to play in the first half. Rummel 21, Central Lafourche 7. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
Hungry for some New Orleans seafood? Come on out to Mellorine's on David Drive. Family owned and operated, Mellorine's has been in the seafood industry for 3 generations. We're open 7 days a week and feature some of the freshest seafood and sandwiches in New Orleans. Let us cater your next party or stop in to pick up a few pounds of mouth-watering crawfish, shrimp, catfish, or po' boys. We prepare all of our food in one of the cleanest kitchens in New Orleans. We're just around the corner from Zephyr Field, so come on out to Mellorine's and meet the family.
Some things just never change, like the Lamarck family's commitment to the community. We appreciate the people who have been good to us. So if you ever need a super deal on a car truck, there's a Lamarck dealership near you. I don't know about you, but I like doing business with people I know.
We're not going away. We're not going away. 'Cause we're bridging the gap.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. A message brought to you by Christian attorney Sam Yonter, handling personal injury and consumer protection cases. Call Sam Yonter at 1-800-45-JUSTICE.
Someone once said that a problem recognized is a problem half solved. The New Life Center recognizes that battered women, homeless families, abused and abandoned children, senior citizens, all need help. New Life provides housing, child care, and supportive services for these families, but we need your help. Get involved. Learn more about New Life. These are the lives that you'll be touching. Please call now and discover how far a little or a lot can go.
Raiders sideline, 2nd down and 8, 48-yard line, injured player for Rummel. Carlisle with time over the middle and caught on the tip. And that's James Duplantis, the tight end, close to a first down near the 40, looks to be just short. Ball hung in the air for a while and Duplantis pulled it in. The senior at 6'3", 210. And now quickly, Central calls timeout with 49 seconds left.
Johnny on the spot. James Duplantis, his older brother, Mike Duplantis, played for the Tigers. His first cousin is Tommy Hodson. Got good bloodlines. Ken, look at this. Right in the right place at the right time. Has a nose for the ball. Big 6'3", 210 tight end, James Duplantis.
Chris Clark getting a hand on that ball, knocking it into the air for Rummel. This game is brought to you by J. Wilton Jones Company, distributors of hardware supplies for commercial and residential usage. For your sheet metal, copper, aluminum, and stainless steel needs, remember J. Wilton Jones Company at 2420 Piedmont Street in Kenner. Good play by Duplantis, makes it 3rd and 1, 49 seconds to play in the half. Central taking another timeout. I believe they have one remaining. As Randy Bro and his staff look on. Again, Carlisle on the shotgun with a setback next to him. Is Bauer. He's going deep. Velasquez got a hand on it, incomplete at the goal line. It's 4th and 1 at the 40. We'll see if they go for it here. You would think they would with this amount of time remaining.
Yes, you would think so, and you bet Sylvester's going to get his hands on the ball. Good look at Velasquez right there. He was the closest one to it. And now with a 3rd and 1 and 42 ticks to go, they're going to have to make a quick work of things right here and get in some kind of scoring position before the end of the half.
Velasquez was one of our Nokia Sugar Bowl Amateur Athletes of the Month for baseball, no less.
Yes.
That, Frank Cazzo is quite proud of. He's a pretty good football player, too.
He did it in spite of the coaching, Ken. We said it as Frank Cazzo is right behind us.
And we're getting a penalty.
Receiver downfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
Rummel takes the penalty, so the ineligible downfield makes it 3rd down and 6 from the 46 with 42 seconds to play in the half. Russell Carlisle on the year came in 45 of 96, 581 yards, 6 touchdowns. With time to deliver, sideline, there he is. 1st down Central and out of bounds. With the reception is Jason Douglas at about the 36, has 10. More importantly, stops the clock.
And he does a good sideline route here. He doesn't catch the ball very much, mostly a blocker, but Carlisle just dialing long distance right here. You know, he's first year he's been playing football, and Carlisle is a pretty good eye. He's a basketball point guard and does a pretty good job. A 3-year letterman in basketball, but good peripheral vision shows right there.
Give him a 35 where it's 1st and 10, 36 seconds to play in the half. Blitz on, picked up nicely. Carlisle's going to go deep toward the end zone. Looking for Sylvester and tipped away in double coverage. Jerome Wiltz and Pat Lamy were there for Rummel. Wiltz has really had a good year, the strong safety. 6 foot 170 senior Jerome with 4 interceptions leads this team. And he handled that one without any problem.
Pretty good basketball player right there as Wiltz. Good vertical jump, and Carlisle just throws up a prayer and hopes his best player, Sylvester, can come down with it. Just can't outleap a pair of Raiders, and Wiltz did get a hand on it.
27 seconds to play in the half on 2nd and 10 at the 25. Toward the sideline and well over the head of his intended receiver, who was Jason Douglas. Maenza in the chase position. It's 3rd down and 10 with 21 seconds left in the 1st half. This is a big possession for Central Lafourche, isn't it?
Yes, it really, really is. You know, they're trailing by 14 points and really haven't shown very much offensively except for that block punt, which was a special teams block. You know, Carlisle completed 46.9% of his tosses this year, 581 yards. He'll go along with 6 scores. He's been somewhat productive.
From the 35-yard line, trip set, 3 receivers to the right side, the wide side of the field. And Carlisle dumps one incomplete. Bauer wasn't looking. Miscommunication, and it will be 4th and 10 with 16 seconds left in the half. Probably too far for the field goal. They'll likely go for it here as Griffin comes in from the sideline. And they send in a couple of more players, Fultz and Douglas. As Bauer comes off, and they'll line up with that trip set right again. 3 receivers to that side of the field. 4th and 10, 35-yard line. Over the middle, Sylvester. He's down short of a 1st down. Chris Clark with an outstanding tackle. Gets Rummel the football back with 8 seconds to play in the half. This kid's going to make someone a very good college football player, but not next year.
Yeah, he's only a junior, Ken. He's got about 10 stops a game. He's got about 8 or 9 already in the 1st half. Clark, good instincts for a linebacker, 6'1", 210. Bench presses 340. He's got good linebacker instincts, and he'll only get better in 99.
Raiders most certainly will run out the clock here with 8 seconds to play in the half and take a knee or just run a safe play. And get to the break with a 14-point lead, and they'll just kneel on the ball here. Wilson's going to take a knee. Harris does, loses a yard. Half is going to come to a close. And here at Joe Yenny Stadium, an entertaining 1st half of action. 1st round, state playoffs, Class 5A, Archbishop Rummel 21, Central Lafourche 7. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
The WHNO High School Game of the Week is brought to you by Lamarck Motor Company, Piccadilly Cafeteria, River Parish Disposal, Radio Phone, Sam Yonter, Attorney at Law, Archbishop Rummel High School, John Curtis Christian School, P.F. Chang's China Bistro, Prime Equipment Company, Melorine Seafood and Po' Boys, New Life Center, Love That Smoothie, and WHNO TV 20.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. A message brought to you by Christian attorney Sam Yonter handling personal injury and consumer protection cases. Call Sam Yonter at 1-800-45-JUSTICE.
Bryan Chevrolet is having an end-of-model year red tag sale on 98s. Hundreds of new and used cars, trucks, and vans have been tagged with the lowest prices of the year. Get 0.9% financing, save up to $10,000 on custom trucks and vans, or get rebates from $750 to $3,000. Sale through September 30th only. The clock's ticking. Hurry to Bryan Chevrolet, your little Jeeper dealer at 8213 Airline Drive before time runs out.
Hungry for some New Orleans seafood? Come on out to Mellorine's on David Drive. Family owned and operated, Mellorine's has been in the seafood industry for 3 generations. We're open 7 days a week and feature some of the freshest seafood and sandwiches in New Orleans. Let us cater your next party or stop in and pick up a few pounds of mouth-watering crawfish, shrimp, catfish, or po' boys. We prepare all of our food in one of the cleanest kitchens in New Orleans. We're just around the corner from Zephyr Field, so come on out to Mellorine's and meet the family.
Someone once said that a problem recognized is a problem half solved. The New Life Center recognizes that battered women, homeless families, abused and abandoned children, senior citizens, all need help. New Life provides housing, child care, and supportive services for these families, but we need your help. Get involved. Learn more about New Life. These are the lives that you'll be touching. Please call now and discover how far a little or a lot can go.
21-7, Archbishop Rummel leads Central Lafourche at halftime. Ken Trahan along with Renee Nadeau from Joe Yenny Stadium in Metairie. A very entertaining first half here between these two teams in the first round of the state playoffs. We're going to recap the scoring of the first half. Rummel got a good punt return from Pat Lamy, set up the first score of the game. This is Ryan Richardson.
Running behind a good block right here by Michael Hollinger and Brandon Graziano, but great individual effort. Look, this is not blocking, this is individual effort. He was stopped shy of the end zone and just lunged with extra effort, Ken.
Central Lafourche got even right here as Alex Darda came through unblocked.
And blocked it. Oh, I tell you what, this was not as easy as it looked. He just ran right into the ball and recovered for the touchdown, scoops it up, and holds on to it in spite of the pursuit. Scores the only touchdown for the Trojans.
Tied the game at 7. Rummel came right back, 65-yard drive. This is how it ended.
And Parquette running behind the left side of the line again. Hollinger and Graziano into the end zone. Good block right there. Ryan Richardson scores one and assist with the block right there on the second score.
All of that in the first quarter. In the second quarter, Rummel got this score with a great lead block on 4th down by the fullback Stelz.
Stelz with a little stretch here. Out in front, and this is just a pulling guard out in front of H.J. Adams. Look, he occupies him, ties up with him right here with the cornerback on the left side. That is Jeremy Taylor, and allows H.J. Adams to scamper into the end zone for the third score. Extra point was good at the half, Ken. 21-7, Raiders.
Raiders by 14 at the break. We'll see what Central Lafourche is able to do in the second half. They had a penetration toward the end of the half, unable to score, though, as Rummel stopped them and got the ball back. Taking a look at some first half numbers in this one thus far. Sylvester, as we surmised, would be the main man for Central Lafourche.
He's got 8 carries, 74 yards, passing the Trojans 5 out of 11 for 24 yards. Carlisle has been rushed quite a bit. The Raiders have done a pretty good job on the other side as well, Ken.
H.J. Adams, 7 carries for 50 yards in the touchdown you just saw. Of course, in addition to that, Darren Parquette, 8 carries, 39 yards in his score. And Ryan Richardson, who's really run well and blocked well, 3 carries, 17 yards in a touchdown. And Darius Wilson, up top, 2 of 3, 68 yards, does have the 1 interception. Rummel has been in control. They lead at the half by the score of 21-7 over the Trojans of Central Lafourche as the Rummel Band, Chapelettes, and drill team perform on the field. P.F. Chang's China Bistro at the corner of Veterans and Severn and Metairie has it all. Service, location, ambiance, but most importantly, quality food. Let P.F. Chang's knowledgeable staff make recommendations, share some dishes, and savor a total dining experience. P.F. Chang's China Bistro is open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. weekdays and 11 a.m. to midnight Friday and Saturday at the corner of Veterans Boulevard and Severn. This game is also brought to you in part by River Parish Disposal, the only independent full-service, locally owned and operated waste disposal company in Greater New Orleans. Commercial, industrial, residential, and compactor rental. Sales service are offered at a savings of up to 25%. Call River Parish Disposal and find out how you can save on your disposal needs at 738-7700. River Parish Disposal. Business stinks, but it's picking up. Halftime as the Raider band leaves the field, 21-7. Rummel with the lead. Your second half coming up. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
LSU Tiger wide receiver Abram Booty stands for Jesus and spreads the word to all who will listen.
My dad is a pastor, and growing up in a pastor's house, you know, I was steadily getting the word fed into me. It got deep into my heart, and when I got older, it was just a decision that I made, you know, that I would follow Jesus, and that's what I try to do, even in college now.
Booty also shares the word with his Tiger teammates.
I had a chance to speak to many of them, even as a big group, and also I do Sunday mornings a lot around here, youth groups and stuff. So it's been real fun. It's been a challenge, and you know, I'm enjoying doing it. Myself, I'm having such a great time living for Jesus, and I think it shows on people's faces that really do live for God. And this is something that people got to look around and see that, you know, it can be fun. You just got to make it that way. I think that athletes should be a role model. You know, everybody's looking up to them as little kids, and I just give advice to get in the Word. You know, stay strong in Jesus, and He'll direct your path.
Well, you made it through school, through labor. You made it up the ladder. And now you're supposed to make dinner. Piccadilly makes it from scratch, so you don't have to. Fresh, wholesome food that's delicious and ready when you are. Like our Dilly Dinner for Two feature, under $10. When you don't have time to make it yourself, make it Piccadilly.
This game is brought to you in part by Prime Equipment Company, distributors of man lifts, tower generators, scissor lifts, and more for commercial and industrial contracting. For all your lifting needs, remember Prime Equipment Company. Second half to begin. Kickoff from Mark Acosta, short, 35, upfield 40. Good job, Stelz, across the 40 to the 41, so a short kick. Stelz gets the Raiders excellent field position to start the second half. With their powerful offense, they've looked very good thus far. In the first half, as here they come onto the field. We'll take a look at the Rummel offense as we start the second half. Darren Wilson, of course, Darius Wilson, the quarterback, has done an excellent job in leading this offense tonight. Big offensive line, and we'll check that Rummel offense for you with good field position at the 41-yard line. Twin receivers to the right. We'll do that after this play, I suppose. Marquette, the running back, on the straight pitch. And a crackback block, obvious, will cost Rummel more. The Raiders make some big penalties that are pretty obvious on occasion, and that was another. Marquette down for a yard loss, and this should cost the Rummel Raiders some valuable real estate.
Well, Brissett and Lagarde were jawing at one another downfield, too, so maybe multiple penalties here, Ken.
So they're discussing that. See if they offset or not.
Flip this way. Dead ball, personal foul, this way. Oh.
So you have one on each team, as we suggested. Saw the clip very clearly initially, and then, of course, you got the personal foul downfield, and they'll discuss what to do. Should equal out. Penalties are of the same duration. It's just a matter of where the clip occurred, whether it's a spot foul as to where the ball is going to be spotted here.
Yes.
They'll sort this out.
We're at the...
That's exactly what they're doing. They're going to mark it from the spot of the foul initially.
We have a live ball clip on the offense. We have a dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Raiders penalized 15 yards.
So they'll mark off each penalty here. 15 against Rummel from the spot of the foul. They'll put him at the 22, and they'll come back 15. I've always wondered about that. I guess you have to do it for official purposes, and you'll pick up the illegal block here.
Yeah, right in front of
you can't. There it is right there.
Yeah, right there. Coming back on a cutback. on a block from behind. It all sorted out. It's first down and 15 for the Raiders.
That was Adams on the block from the 37-yard line. Wilson to the 40, maybe the 41. Has 3, possibly 4, thrown down hard at that point. Here's the Rummel offense. A big line of Graziano, Hollinger, Hurley, Loyacano, and Chatelain getting some movement. Myers, the tight end. Brissett and Adams started wide out. Wilson, the quarterback. Richardson alternating with Stelz. And Parkett in the backfield. 2nd and 11. Rummel will check the Trojan defense after the next play. Adams to the right. And Brissett to the left. A lot of movement will cost Central Lafourche 5, it would appear.
Maybe some voice inflection here, Kim, to draw the defense off sides.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense, replay the down.
So now it will be 2nd down and a makeable. 6 yards for Rummel, just underway second half. Raiders leading at 21-7. I'm Ken Trahan along with Renee Nato on a beautiful night here in Metairie. Long snap count. Wilson trying to draw them offside with a pitch to Parkett. Using his block, putting his head down, driving out of bounds at about the 48. Bauer makes the stop, a gain of 3. Here's the Central Lafourche defense with Crescione, Hester, Roddy, Ponson, and Guidry. Douglas, Bauer, and Bro, the linebackers, and the secondary of Lagarde, who had an interception in the first half. Andy Rister and Jason Stoddard. We've seen Shane Este as well. Line of scrimmage will be the 49, where it's 3rd down and 2 for Rummel. Run that straight pitch twice now here on this series.
You know, Travis Douglas did an outstanding job playing off the block of Ryan Richardson and making the tackle. Really did. That's the way you draw it up from an outside linebacker perspective.
That's Stelz, the motion man. That's Parkett, the ball carrier, with a first down. Good blocking by Rummel, and Parkett to the 47 before he's driven back. Gets about 5. First down for the Raiders. Chatelain with a good block for Rummel, and Rummel moves the chains.
And good gang tackling by the Trojan defense. You can see right here as gets a couple of yards. Trips coming out right here. Good block right there on the backside by Graziano, but just engulfed by a sea of white. And that was Rister, it was among others, making the stop for the Trojans.
Give him the 47-yard line in Central Lafourche territory. Twin receivers left, single receiver to the right. Richardson in motion, and Wilson wants to throw. Lots of time. Now has to get it off, and does beautifully. H.J. Adams, first down Rummel, across the 35 to the 33. That's an excellent throw. Wilson bought as much time as he could. 14 yards to Adams.
And he did buy as much time running to the right. Felt the heat coming from behind him, Ken, and he certainly does have some heat coming from Crescione. Doesn't see it, but he knows it's coming. The pursuit coming from the blind side. He's going to get hit right here as soon as he throws it. Releases the ball right where it needed to be thrown in front of the defensive backs. First down, Raiders.
32-yard line. That's 15 yards on the pass. 3rd completion for Darius Wilson. Parkett on the pitch. Gets a great block, but he's hit, and he'll be dropped at the line of scrimmage. Outstanding defensive play was made there by 45 Shane Este up from safety. Well, that play looked pretty good initially with a great block on the point of attack, but good pursuit by the Trojans.
And Rister comes up and fills from his right cornerback position. Look, he waits to it's definitely going to be a run this way. Plays off the look, and also Douglas shuts off the lane inside and gives him nowhere to run. That's definitely team effort on defense right there. Douglas coming from the inside, and Rister shuts it off outside for the tackle. You know, Douglas didn't make the tackle, but he certainly shut it off.
Good job by Andy Rister. 2nd and 10, the 32. Wilson keeps. Big hole. Darius across the 25 to the 24. Looks to be short of a first by a yard. I'll tell you, we talked about it when we saw Rummel earlier this year. When they line up and just drive block like this Look at that straight ahead blocking, Renee. They're pretty tough because they're so big.
Great surge. Yeah, you go across the front, 330, 300, 230, 305, 270. And you got a couple of major college prospects. Chatelaine is offered by LSU, Tulane, Southern Mississippi, Virginia, and Tennessee. Michael Hollinger has a host of colleges. We'll talk about that. So 2 major college prospects on the line.
From the 24, Wilson this time is stopped. He's short of a first down. Darius Wilson was wrapped up. The penetration was good, and the play was made. Joey Guidry among those there defensively. And Ronnie Ponson there as well. And let's see what Rummel elects to do on 4th down and 2.
Ponson really fights off the block of Graziano. He's a load at 5'11", 300 pounds. He's that rock on defense. He's really a plugger, Kenny. And he finds a way at 5'11", 300 to be around the ball. Always, always moving. He'll stand toe-to-toe with anyone. And I guess if you're 5'11", 300, not too many people are going to overpower you.
From the 24, they'll go for it on 4th and 2. Long snap count by Wilson. Option play right. He'll keep. First down, Rummel. Darius Wilson inside the 15. Down near the 14, has 10. Has a first down. And again, he really gives them an additional ball carrier.
Yes, Wilson, and scored a couple of touchdown runs against Jesuit earlier on. You can see right here, Wilson just looking for a crease. Has the option of pitch. Just shutting it off on the inside. Good screen blocking inside here, shutting off the inside and allowing him a lane outside, bouncing it in. First down, Darius Wilson, Rummel Raiders.
From the 14-yard line, they'll set Adams left and Brissett right. Rummel on the opening drive of the second half, and impressive thus far. And Parquette gets 1 block. Flag down, however, as he drives inside the 10 and lost the ball late. Let's see who's got this one. Central thinks they do. That would be huge. Give the ball to the Trojans. Looked like Rister, and it is Andy Rister who came up with it. Flag down, but likely against Rummel as Parquette lost the handle. Second time, and this time Rummel loses possession.
And big Courtney Smith, 6'5", 370 pounds of him, was in the middle there. Good look right there at Rister. And the Trojan defense really shut the door on them deep in their own territory and allowed what could have been a... Look, you see Courtney right here. You know, I'll tell you what, Kenny, when you're 6'5", 370, you have nowhere to hide. Only 17 years old, and he just, it's like running into one shell square.
Hard to tell there that if that ball came out before he was down, he might have been down on the play. From that angle, hard to tell. From the 9-yard line, following the turnover. Sylvester in traffic. Sylvester is wrapped up, and he's ripped. Steven Segari got him in the backfield. Central Lafourche offense. Duplantis, the tight end, had a good catch in the first half. Chasson Landry. Zarang, Schreider, and Smith up front. Douglas, Carlisle. Sylvester has been their man. Griffin and Collins seen action as well. Loss of about a yard on that play to the 8. Second down and 11 yards to go. 6:25 and counting, third quarter. 21-7. Rummel on top. Good look at the Raider defense. There's Steven Segari. Chris Clark backs him. Really hit as he throws. He was ripped by Clark in the end zone and incomplete.
Yeah, Clark really lowered the boom on him. He'll make him think twice about coming in his territory again. And really, Carlisle had very little opportunity to let it go. He just had to just release the ball and get rid of it, save a sack, which he did. But he took a pounding from Chris Clark, and you might be hearing bells right now. I think it's Christmas time. Stops the clock at 6:06, 30-11, Ken, and kind of cuts back on their options, way back in their own territory, but you can bet somehow they're going to try to get Sylvester with the ball right now.
From the 8-yard line with Sylvester next to him in the backfield. And protecting, and the throw way out of bounds, incomplete. Intended for Collins. The Rummel defense is held, and Raiders will get the football back. These are the defensive players that just did the job already. Amin, Dabdoo, Mills, and Segari up front for Rummel, with Dubuque, Clark, and Kirkley at linebacker. And Velasquez, Wells, Roussel, that's Roussel and Lamy as they leave the field, having done their jobs. And the special teams come on. Bonvillain to kind of punt it away. Velasquez and Lamy are deep.
Good rush here, Ken.
Got it off. Lamy, no fair catch. Lamy, no return. Down at the 37-yard line, and Rummel gets great field position. 5:47 to play in the third, leading at 21-7.
It'll be interesting to see what the Raiders do now with Darius Wilson getting instructions from Coach Jay Roth and company. He's got Ryan Richardson in the backfield with him, and I think H.J. Adams will get back there on the I, dot the I. You know, Rummel's done such a great job on the ground with a 14-point advantage now. You can bet they're going to stay on the ground with H.J. Adams in the single setback.
Richardson in the slot. This is Adams getting a good block from Chatelaine on the cut back to the 30 and stopped there after a gain of 7 yards. Tackled there nicely by 45 Eshte. After a gain of 6, perhaps 7, they'll mark it near the 30.
And Loyacano really with a good kick-out block, and Chatelaine seals on the inside. Myers with a seal on the inside allows H.J. Adams to scamper up the field before Travis Douglas makes this stop, along with Este as well. But second, a nice pickup, Ken.
Second down is short for the 31. Now the single setback is Stelz, and he'll get it up the middle, and with a hole, bangs for an apparent first down near the 26 as Kevin Stelz on the dive. Rummel running the dive more frequently tonight and having some success in the process.
Yeah, they're getting Richardson and Stealth the ball a little bit. They've been mainly blockers all season long, but they're throwing them a bone and having some success. Of course, they're running behind those mammoth offensive linemen, Hurley and Loyacano, Chatelaine, and Graziano and Hollinger.
From the 26-yard line with 4:40 to play in the third, Raiders leading by 2 touchdowns with Adams in the backfield. H.J. with the ball, off tackle, breaks a tackle as he crosses the 20, down to about the 17, has 9. Adams runs with very good lean. We talked about it, broken ankle as a freshman, back problems as a sophomore, broken leg as a junior, and an ankle problem this year, but it hasn't shown.
Good pull by Hollinger right there, kicks out, allows him to run. You know, Hollinger, they feel Hollinger could be as good as a guy who you're probably familiar with, Gary Radiker, really a great lineman back in the 70s here with the Rummel Raiders, and Hollinger being looked at by a host of colleges. He will make an excellent one, 6'3", 305.
2nd and 1, and they give to Stelz for a first down as he crosses the 15-yard line and gets down to the 13 and picks up 4. Raiders starting to wear Central Lafourche down, perhaps.
Yes, in the pits, and that's where it's killing him. It's a mismatch. Of course, they have Courtney Smith back in the game, but a mismatch everywhere else. No one on the front. Courtney Smith, 370. And, of course, you have Hassar is 300, but everyone else is really, really mismatched against the much larger Rummel Raider offensive line.
Line up with 3 receivers to the left side and run the counter right with Adams inside with a hole inside the 5, down near a first down at the 4 is H.J. Adams as the Raiders pound it straight ahead. What Rummel started to do in the last few weeks against St. Aug, Brother Martin, and now against this club, Central Lafourche, is spread people out, take more people out of the box, and create running room.
Little misdirection here. Good vision running by H.J. Adams, and you can't teach that, Ken. You give him some lane to run in and, you know, let him get back there and pick the hole, and H.J. Adams did an outstanding job of letting his instincts take over. You know, he's a nephew of Butch Dewey, former LSU quarterback.
Measurement for the first down, and Adams comes up just short. It's 2nd down, less than a yard at the 4-yard line. Rummel trying to add to a 21-7 lead. Again, the winner of this game moves on to the 2nd round of the playoffs to play the winner of the Lafayette-Destrehan game. By airtime, that will have been decided.
H.J. Adams with 10 totes, 76 yards, and you can bet he'll probably get the ball this play right here.
Rummel will line up in the power I. That's been a good goal line offensive formation for them this year. And they'll keep it with Wilson. He'll get the first down, pushing toward the goal line. Down inside the 2, 1st and goal for Rummel. Harris Wilson just keeps those legs moving, really runs low to the ground, under control, and thus he's able to shift around with those feet of his. He's not overly speedy, but he's quick and has good feet.
Yeah, he's only 5'9", 165, Kim, but he just goes by. Look at this, just great lean right here by Hollinger. And when you got a guy 6'3", 305 leading the way for you, it's like running behind a mini bus. And not much guys like Lagarde right there, Chris Lagarde, can do about that.
First and goal from the 2-yard line, and the power eye once more. Richardson. Ryan Richardson into the end zone. And the Raiders have scored again.
Well, I'm very proud of that young man. He's really come back a long way. You know, great running behind the offensive front, Graziano and Hollinger on the left side. Takes a handoff right here from Wilson. And just leans forward, runs behind his shoulder pads into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Raiders are beginning to pull away with 2:12 to go here in the third stanza.
Louvier to try the point after. Out of the hold of Muffy. Christian Louvier converts again. 2:12 to play, third quarter, with our score. Rummel 28 and Central Lafourche 7. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
I gave you that step before you went up there.
The WHNO High School Game of the Week is brought to you by Lamarck Motor Company, Piccadilly Cafeteria, River Parish Disposal, Radiophone, Sam Yonter, Attorney at Law, Archbishop Rummel High School, John Curtis Christian School, P.F. Chang's China Bistro, Prime Equipment Company, Melorine Seafood and Po' Boys, New Life Center, Love That Smoothie, and WHNO TV 20.
John Curtis Christian School, founded in 1962, provides a quality Christian education to students preschool through 12th grade throughout the metropolitan area. An accelerator program begins in the lower school and continues into an honors program in junior and senior high. High school students graduate with 28 Carnegie units, and their curriculum in math and sciences includes trig, calculus, college algebra, analytical geometry, chemistry, human physiology, and physics. Students in yearbook, newspaper, and communication classes produce publications and videos using the latest software. Extracurricular activities are an important part of the Curtis experience. Students are actively involved in their school and community through organizations like Key Club, Beta Club, National Honor Society, Interact Club, and Fellowship of Christian Athletes. The philosophy of the John Curtis Christian School is to develop the whole child. Students experience spiritual and academic growth as part of their school experience at John Curtis Christian School.
Raider faithful enjoying this one. 2:12 to play in the third, and they lead this one by the score of 28-7. Penalty on Rummel results in the kickoff from the 25-yard line. So this should be returnable here. Louvier will boot it away. And Sylvester will be standing deep along with Griffin. Toward the sidelines and fielded at the 11. This is Griffin. Nice return by Griffin to about the 38. So Central Lafourche gets some good field position here. 2:01 to play in the third, trailing 28-7.
Nice little run back by Griffin gives the Trojan fans something to cheer about. And, of course, with a 21-point disadvantage, the Central Lafourche Trojans need to get back and make this a contest.
This game is brought to you in part by J. Wilton Jones Company, distributors of hardware and supplies for commercial and residential usage for your sheet metal, copper, aluminum, and stainless steel needs. Remember J. Wilton Jones Company at 2420 Piedmont Street in Kenner. Out of the shotgun, Carlisle. In the flat, this is Griffin. Good pursuit, excellent tackle, Jason Maenza. He stops him for no gain, maybe a loss of one, and Jason's played excellent football tonight.
Maenza shut off the outside, and clock was heavy in pursuit, so they gave him very little option to run anywhere, and made the stop after just a moderate gain. Second down and call it 10.
Second down, a loss of 2, 12 yards to go, the 36. Screen pass developing to Sylvester. He's got some speed. He's loose. Big play, Central Lafourche to the Rummel 33. Lamy brings him down. 31 yards on the screen. Carlisle to Sylvester.
You know, this is not their bread and butter, the screen and all, but in catch-up football, they have to do it. You know, maybe it's the colors, maybe it's the number, but can I tell you what, he sure reminds me of a young Charles Alexander in the way he carries himself. He's only a junior. He's going to get better at 5'11", but make that 6'1", 200 pounds with 4.4 speed. He's going to be great in 99.
From the 33-yard line. Carlisle under pressure. Intercepted Brandon Dabdoob. Look at the big man run. Dabdoob with a man to beat. Down to the 20-yard line. What a play by Brandon Dabdoob. Carlisle saved the touchdown. It's one reason that Brandon Dabdoob is going to be a highly recruited player a year from now.
Yeah, he's really been taken over, Ken. He's got a touchdown already. He's got an interception. You know, he's a defensive tackle. No one told him he's playing defensive line. You know, he's got better stats than some offensive players in the district. Look, he ran away. 6'2", 275 with 4.9 speed. I don't know if he's faster than that, but he's running downhill here. It's like releasing the brake of a Winnebago and letting it run downhill.
We have a clip on the red. They retain the ball after a 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, he makes a great return, and a large part of it's negated by a clip. Rummel's playing good tonight, winning by 21, but I'll tell you, they're still a much too penalized football team to be able to go very, very deep into the playoffs. This team's good enough to go a long way.
They are, Ken.
But they just can't keep making these kind of mistakes to hurt themselves against quality opposition. Well, that was a great play by Dabdoob, and the clip negates, oh man, it negates about 50 yards on that particular penalty.
You know, you mentioned Dabdoob, only a junior. He's already got Tulane, Michigan State, and Southern Mississippi monitoring and charting his progress.
On the out, what a fake by Wilson. Look at Darius Wilson. Touchdown saving tackle, Chris Lagarde. What a play by Darius Wilson. Oh, he's a good player. This kid's a sophomore. He's got 2 years left to run this football team.
I tell you what, Dabdoob's on the sidelines. He must think he's in Denver, where the air is very thin. He's out of breath. He's dying. Here's Darius Wilson right here. Look, good cut right here. Good seal block on the inside. Allows him cut back. Good cut back running against the grain. And Chris Lagarde is in hot pursuit, makes this tackle. I'll tell you, Chris Lagarde already has about 8 or 10 tackles from his defensive back position.
That's 45 yards for Wilson in the first down of the 24. This is Parquette on the straight pitch with speed to the 20, to the 15, to the 10. He's out of bounds, but there's 2 flags down. You're going to get some more holding against Rummel here, I'm afraid, as the penalties continue to mount.
H.J. Adams up ahead trying to open up some things for the block for him. May have grabbed a handful of jersey.
So this play will come back as well. Talked about their penalty prowess prior to the game, and it's certainly, much to the chagrin of the Rummel staff, is standing up again here tonight.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Spot foul to the 29-yard line where it's first down and 15 yards to go. Third quarter's about to come to a close here. With 1 second to play in the quarter, this will be the final play of the third quarter.
Ken, Darius Wilson with 74 yards on 10 carries. An outstanding job he's had. Most of that coming on the last play, second to last play.
Wilson picks his way across the 25 down to about the 23 for 6 yards as the third quarter comes to a close with our score. Rummel 28, Central Lafourche 7. Back with our final quarter in a moment. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
Well, you made it through school, through labor. You made it up the ladder. And now you're supposed to make dinner? Piccadilly makes it from scratch, so you don't have to. Fresh, wholesome food that's delicious and ready when you are. Like our Dilly Dinner for Two feature, under $10. When you don't have time to make it yourself, make it Piccadilly.
As we start the fourth quarter of play, 28-7, Rummel has the lead. And this game is brought to you in part by Prime Equipment Company, distributors of man lifts, tower generators, scissor lifts, and more for commercial and industrial contracting. For all your lifting needs, remember Prime Equipment Company.
On the last play, the Raiders are going for Willie Rose.
As the fourth quarter gets set to begin, we might have another procedure penalty here. That's exactly what's happening. It's going to cost Rummel more yardage here. Procedure, the call. 5-yard penalty. Well, they've overcome a ton of these tonight, but again, Renee, if they're going to beat strong opposition here in the playoffs, they just can't afford to have these many obstacles to overcome.
No, and you're not going to beat... You're not going to win these tight games with penalties that take points off the board and things of this sort. And Rummel is lucky they have a 21-point advantage right now.
Clearly the better team here tonight and dominant up front from the 33. This is 1st and 20 as Parquette gets the carry toward the sideline. 3-yard play to the 30-yard line, and then a late flag is thrown here, and that might work against Central Lafourche, though. That could really help Rummel, and 15 yards might be forthcoming on that particular play. This game is brought to you in part by River Parish Disposal, the only independent, full-service, locally owned and operated waste disposal company in Greater New Orleans. Commercial, industrial, residential, and compactor rental. Sales service are offered at a savings of up to 25%. Call River Parish Disposal and find out how you can save on your disposal needs at 738-7700. River Parish Disposal. Business stinks, but it's picking up.
That's a frustration foul against the Trojans. Can they...
On the defense.
That's 15 yards at the conclusion of the play, and from 1st and 20, they'll end up really only needing about 2 yards to make a first down.
Parquette bouncing it outside, and just a late hit right here, Ken. Just frustration. You know, it's tough when with 12 minutes left to play here in the fourth and final stanza. Central Lafourche is going to have to put some points on the board, and they're going to have to pass the ball, which is not their strength. And I guess the defensive player is seeing the opportunity slipping away. Frustration steps in.
Zeshte hit him inbounds, but just kept driving, and by the time he drove him to the turf, they were about 5 yards out of bounds. That's really tough for a defender when you make contact in the field of play to stop. As Eddie Bro looks on it, he knows it was just a hard play and a good effort by his player in that situation.
That's a scary picture there. Having a good time, Ken. This is football weather, buddy.
As the third quarter does finally come to a close after this penalty, we had the quarter coming to a close twice. Finally does after this penalty, as this one's bogged down a bit. 28-7. Rummel has the lead. Fourth quarter to come, and you're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week. Brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. A message brought to you by Christian attorney Sam Yonter, handling personal injury and consumer protection cases. Call Sam Yonter at 1-800-45-JUSTICE.
Some things just never change, like the Lamarck family's commitment to the community. We appreciate the people who have been good to us. So if you ever need a super deal on a car truck, there's a Lamarck dealership near you. I don't know about you, but I like doing business with people I know.
We're not going away. We're not going away. 'cause we're bridging the gap.
Fourth quarter begins 28-7 our score. Rummel on top. Kent Trahan along with Renee Nato. And, of course, the WHNO High School Game of the Week brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors, by Prime Equipment, by Piccadilly Cafeterias, by Love That Smoothie, and by J. Wilton Jones and Company. Second down, we'll call it 1 yard to go from the 15-yard line. Wilson wants to throw. In the flat. That's caught by Adams. HJ with a first down inside the 10 and dragged down near the 7-yard line. Has about 8. Harris Wilson has really played well. He's thrown it well, despite one interception, and he's running well. Raider pride, the stigma and identification of Rummel High School for many, many years now, dating back to the early 70s. When Don Perrette was their football coach, and it was instituted by people like Brother Harris.
Good moving out of the pocket, out of containment, and hitting H.J. Adams. Good stop right there by a sophomore, Shane Este.
Back to live action. Parquette picks his way. 5-3-2 near the 1 is Darren Parquette. And Rummel knocking on the door as Parquette ran hard, and it will be 2nd and goal after that effort by Darren Parquette.
Very hard, determined runner. 6'1", 205. Ken, he's got 618 yards thus far in the season. You know, he set a school record for a clean and squat. 375 to squeeze, 500 squat. He's really a very well put together athlete as a running back and got outstanding ability. 119 yards against De La Salle. Boy, he's got more potential, as much potential as a Michael Burks, who now plays for Auburn.
2nd down and goal from the 1-yard line. And Parquette fumbles the ball, and Central Lafourche has it. His 2nd fumble that they've lost, and it's recovered by Chris Hester. Rummel's turned it over 3 times. They've had a ton of penalties, and yet you look up and they're leading by 21.
And Chris Hester comes shooting in a gap. He will be special in 99. He's played all the line positions, 6 feet, 284. And Taryn Borquette left it on the floor again. Tell you what, it's tough when you had an opportunity for a couple of more scores, and no one, it's sometimes it's just mental breakdowns, not holding on to the ball. I'm sure Borquette wish he had that back.
Well, watching the replay, can't fault Wilson. He put it right in his belly there. Might have taken his eye off, looking for a place to run. Costs Rummel, and Central Lafourche gets it at their 4 with 11:01 to play. Sylvester crosses the 5, gets to the 7, as Jason Amin has him. Now Sylvester has really been their lone offensive threat here this evening. He's a good football player, good size, good speed, and a very promising future. And this is another guy that you can look for next year to be a star in this state.
He's got 3 interceptions on defense, 1 for a touchdown. We mentioned he's got 7 touchdowns rushing, 2 passing. And again, he looks a lot with that body lean and the way he carries himself like a Charles Alexander.
7-yard line. Off of the fake. Nice throw, completed to the 20 to the 25-yard line. Charles Foles, first down Central, and a gain of 18.
Randy Bro has done an outstanding job. Not always the best teams win. He's got talent, but he's made the most of it and really weaved this team into a very cohesive unit. And nice little pickup here. Gets him out of a deep hole, Ken.
David Kirkley brings him down at the 25. And they run a counter play, influence play, and it's not working. Not working. Tried to surprise the Raiders on that particular play. And it just wasn't happening for Central Lafourche. It will be 2nd and long.
They show what kind of ability Sylvester has. He took over the game against H.L. Bourgeois with 170 yards. And again, you mentioned he has outstanding potential, will be great in 99. Did not play last year, so he's really just scratched the surface.
course, that was Darius Griffin on the carry on 2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard gain. Carlisle throws, picked off Wiltz, 5th of the year. 30, 20, 15, out of bounds near the 12. Tyrone Wiltz stepped in front of it. 5 interceptions for Wiltz. He's just been terrific all year long. It comes up big again for Rummel.
And they feel like this may be the best secondary they've ever had at Rummel for quite a while. And Deron Wiltz just roams from his free safety position, the center field, read Carlisle's eyes, and right where he needed to be. And Wiltz just scampers up the field for a nice return. And now, once again, the Raiders are knocking on the door inside of 10 minutes.
Sylvester drove him out of bounds. Raiders have it at the 13-yard line following the return. Adams will be the tailback now. Rummel has to hurry to get it off. With 1 second they do, and Adams inside, cuts back. 10-5. H.J. Adams to about the 3. And close to a first down before he's driven back. Continues to have an outstanding game. Adams, really Rummel's best football player, certainly their best threat on offense.
Yeah, and he's been hit by nagging injuries. He's running through the thicket bushes right here. But when I tell you, everybody's taking a whack at him and finally brings him down. But he runs into a wall right here, pushed back. But nice drive in his legs.
Again, I just think Rummel's so effective when they go downhill with that offense and that drive blocking, Renee. They just get their pads on you, and it's kind of hard to get off.
Yeah, once they lock up with you, that's it's all over.
2nd and 1 from the 3. Adams again, smothered and dropped. Big Courtney Smith.
You know, Kenny,
he just lays him out. And look at Courtney when he does that. He says, no way, man. Hey, look at Mario Loyacano. They've had a good battle tonight. You know, that's 2 big men there.
Kenny, I got to look at this guy's birth certificate, Courtney Smith. He was born April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You know, this 6'5", 370, man. They don't make him much bigger than that. This is a Winnebago, buddy. Look at him.
There he is, Courtney Smith, 2-way performer. Man, he's tough to move. They couldn't move him there, and it's 3rd down and a long one. Call it the 4. Power eye, Wilson sneaks. Look at the movement. Wilson into the end zone. Touchdown.
Running behind his shoulder pass. Good blocking up front. Good surge by Hurley, Hollinger, Graziano, Loyacano, and Chatelaine. And they just owning the interior line right there. Great offensive line surge. You can see right here, Darius Wilson, just good lean by the offensive front and escorted him into the end zone, and just too much weight on the Rummel side.
Again, that straight ahead.
Yep.
Drive blocking downhill, man. That's a lot of beef.
That's power blocking, Ken.
Here's Louvier for the point after, trying to make it 35-7 Rummel. And he does. 7:42 to play. Rummel in control. 35-7 over Central Lafourche. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
Preparing students for the 21st century, Archbishop Rummel High School is committed to academic excellence in a friendly environment. With a network of state-of-the-art computers that includes computerized writing and biology labs, Archbishop Rummel equips young men grades 8 through 12 with an education they need to succeed in the technologically advanced future. The campus, located in Metairie, provides students with a safe and friendly environment in which to learn. Parents will enjoy the fact that Archbishop Rummel's location is convenient and easily accessible, even during peak traffic hours. Archbishop Rummel's belief in the well-rounded student is exemplified by its outstanding achievements in academics as well as extracurricular activities. Archbishop Rummel challenges its students to seek excellence in all aspects of high school life with care and concern for each individual student. For the ultimate high school experience, choose Archbishop Rummel and ensure your son's educational success.
This game is brought to you in part by J. Wilton Jones Company, distributors of hardware supplies for commercial and residential usage. For your sheet metal, copper, aluminum, and stainless steel needs, remember J. Wilton Jones Company at 2420 Piedmont Street in Kenner. There's Darius Wilson. Oh, he's played well. He's such a calm young man, and he's really mature beyond his years, a sophomore with a great future.
Really a resident of Kenner, Louisiana, on the playgrounds of Kenner. And that drive, 13 yards following the Wiltz interception, 3 plays, 1 minute, 31 seconds off the clock. A 3-yard run by Darius Wilson.
Bouvier to kick it away. Bang, she goes. 20-yard line will be Central's starting point once more with 7:42 to play in the ball game. And the Trojans will likely be in the passing mode. That's not their favorite attack.
They go to the shotgun. They only like to go to the shotgun about 3 times a game. They've thrown the ball probably 12, 13, 14 times.
She's having a good time. It's sweater weather here tonight. This is about ideal for me. This is how I like it.
Yeah, you know, when your nose begins to run a little bit, it's not too bad. But when the feet turn cold, you know, it makes it a little bit uncomfortable, Ken.
Fail, Carlos.
Here's Sylvester. Down, nice play. Just didn't have anywhere to go as Rummel had good penetration there from 98. Robbie Hoffman, a senior linebacker. Robbie Hoffman getting some time and making a nice play. Well, you know it's special for him, a senior, contributing to this team.
And your heart has to go out to the Central Lafourche Trojans. They've really worked hard to get here as Sylvester just out to the outside. Good pull by Schreider. And just taking him down is Hoffman. Good look at Jay Roth right there.
Well, he's put Rummel back on the map as he did when he was a player, as his dad did when he was a coach at Rummel. Here's the fullback, cutting back, trying to get to the outside, but Velasquez just won't let him do it. All right, Carlos Velasquez is a good athlete, as mentioned, a very good baseball player as well, and he just wasn't going to allow Travis Douglas to get to the outside.
His future probably lies in baseball. Pretty good center fielder, as you mentioned, Ken, and a good leadoff hitter for Coach Frank Cazzo's baseball team. But, you know, this Central Lafourche team really have come back. They beat Abramson, then the Hurricane kind of caught them a little bit, but they really played outstanding against Destrehan and showed their mettle. Lost the last couple of games, but beat Thibodeau and Hahnville, won in overtime, and really did a great job this season.
3rd and 8 from the 22. Carlisle just got it off. Made a nice throw, but incomplete. He got banged down hard as he delivered, and the pass was intended for Claudel Collins. And Maenza was there. Boy, Jason Maenza's played very good football tonight in the Rummel secondary. There is Jason.
And you can see right here, good blocking. He's in the pocket. Good pressure from the outside caused him to release the ball. Maenza with pretty good defense, knocking the ball away. Incomplete, stopping the clock. 4th down, 6:11 to go here. Good look at the Raider defense.
And they'll go for it here, despite being at their own 22, nothing to lose. Down 35-7 in the shotgun formation for Carlisle. And they run a pitch to Sylvester, bobbles it. Oh, man, he is in trouble and whacked. He is whacked back at his own 17 by Jason Maenza again. And Rummel will get the football with 6:01 to play.
It looked like somebody shot my hands out of a slingshot. Running downhill, he just collided. You heard the crash from up here. Good luck by Maenza. He really collided with Sylvester.
There's Jason. Here comes the second-team Rummel offense coming onto the field. That's why you hear the cheer.
Look at this. He couldn't find the handle, and you can hear, whoo-hoo, here he comes. Bang! And Sylvester stopped in his tracks. Maenza played it well as a quarterback.
Matt Truax in at quarterback for Rummel as they go to second-team players here. From the 17-yard line. And movement again up front. Central's had a little bit of trouble discerning those snap counts tonight, and they've encroached.
Encroachment on the defense. Repeat, 1st down.
So it will be 1st and 5. David Eoff is in at the running back position for Rummel.
Senior getting a good opportunity here. Show his folks why he practiced so hard under 6 minutes to go. Raiders would like to put another score up, and Central Lafourche fighting for pride.
David's had 3 carries on the year. He'll likely get 1 or 2 here. From the 12, that is Stelz in motion. And there is Eoff with some running room. Closes down in a hurry, though, as he crosses the 10, near the 9. Before he's brought down by big Courtney Smith, he obliterates you.
Ken, it's like running into one shell square. He just doesn't move, man. He is big. He just trying to find some running room. And look, Courtney Smith, he occupies about 3 spaces. You really can't run very far. Get away from him.
And now you get the talented freshman Eric Smith in the game at running back. 5-10 and counting to play. 2nd down and 3 at the 10. Truax to Smith. In trouble in the backfield. Spins away from one. Made a good run. And has a first down to about the 6. Boy, that's a good run by Smith. There's really nothing there, and he makes 4 and makes it 1st and goal, Rummel.
And you know, the effort was there by Central Lafourche. They did not wrap up and allowed him to cut it back a little bit and make something happen there. Good tackle. Watch, you can see them. They were all around, so they did what they were supposed to do. You can see Sylvester coming up, crashing in here, and also assisted by Guidry. All around. Spins, breaks out of a tackle here. Finally putting the brakes on him is Gracioni, but not before he gets close to the end zone. 4.5 minutes left to go, Ken, and they smell the end zone from this area.
At the 5-yard line, watch the fullback. They run that dive successfully tonight. 1st and goal. Fake the dive. Truax keeps, dives close to the 3. Ball came out, but he was down. So Truax to the 3. Truax, good size. Good look at Matt, 6 feet, 170, a sophomore. 12 carries coming in. 34 yards and a touchdown, and 1-of-1 passing for 34 yards.
And Ken, you know what that one pass completion was?
Yes, we do.
Against Jesuit, which allowed the Raiders to come back with that fake field goal and beat the Jays. But Matt shows he can run the ball as well.
Make it to 4, where it's 2nd and goal, under 4 minutes and counting to play. Smith toward the end zone. He's in. Eric Smith from 4 yards out adds to the Rummel Raider lead. Eric Smith's got a great future for Rummel. This kid's elusive.
That's the future right there, Eric Smith. 5'10", 175 with 4.5 speed. Good running ability, Ken. Spinning and fighting. Clawing for the yards into the end zone. Got great vision. Very much of a north-south runner. He's probably more like a Michael Burks than anyone else when Burks was a freshman here.
Louvier's been perfect tonight. Still is. 3:36 to play. It's Archbishop Rummel 42, Central Lafourche 7. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. A message brought to you by Christian attorney Sam Yonter, handling personal injury and consumer protection cases. Call Sam Yonter at 1-800-45-JUSTICE.
I'm quarterback Billy Joe Hobart. Let me introduce you to my star tack and my star tackle. Willie Rowe, 6'5", 300 pounds. My star tack fits easily into my pocket and gives me crystal clear reception. My star tackle, he lets me stay in the pocket so I can throw for great reception.
The Motorola StarTac 3000, only $49.
Thanks to Radiophone, you can have your own star tack. But there's only one, Willie Rowe, and you can't have him.
We're not going to do.
No. We're here to stay. Yep, we're not going away. Not going away. We're bringing the gap. Oh.
Some things just never change, like the Lamarck family's commitment to the community. We appreciate the people who have been good to us. So if you ever need a super deal on a car truck, there's a Lamarck dealership near you. I don't know about you, but I like doing business with people I know.
We're not going away. We're not going away. 'Cause we're bridging the gap.
Hungry
Hungry for some New Orleans seafood? Come on out to Mellorine's on David Drive. Family owned and operated, Mellorine's has been in the seafood industry for 3 generations. We're open 7 days a week and feature some of the freshest seafood and sandwiches in New Orleans. Let us cater your next party or stop in and pick up a few pounds of mouth-watering crawfish, shrimp, catfish, or po' boys. We prepare all of our food in one of the cleanest kitchens in New Orleans. We're just around the corner from Zephyr Field, so come on out to Mellorine's and meet the family.
This game is brought to you in part by River Parish Disposal, the only independent, full-service, locally owned and operated waste disposal company in Greater New Orleans. Commercial, industrial, residential, and compactor rental. Sales service are offered at a savings of up to 25%. Call River Parish Disposal and find out how you can save on your disposal needs at 738-7700. River Parish Disposal. Business stinks, but it's picking up. Louvier again toward the end zone. That's another touchback.
Get that last touchdown drive by the Raiders. 17 yards, 4 plays. Consuming 2:25 off the clock. 4-yard scamper by Eric Smith. The extra point was good. 3:36 remaining here in the game. The Raiders with a commanding 42-7 lead, and Central Lafourche taking possession here.
Clock, Dabdoo, Mayenza, to name a few defensively, have been outstanding for Rummel. Offensively, Darius Wilson's played terrific again. Certainly, H.J. Adams has been huge. I tell you, I'm inclined to pick Ryan Richardson as our player of the game. A couple of touchdowns, some great blocking
Great
tonight.
blocking.
Unheralded. He and Stelz both blocking well. This is a reverse. This isn't going anywhere. Good effort, though, to get past the line of scrimmage for a yard or two by Claudel Collins.
You like to pick a guy who doesn't always score. Ryan Richardson didn't put up the great number. He's only 74 yards, a couple of scores coming into this game. But, it's he represents all the guys who really give it up as a blocker, and you never hear about him. They don't put those stats up. You don't get many stats for blocking. A little reverse here. Collins is engulfed. Nowhere to go.
There's McDuff on the tackle. Here's a halfback pass. Sylvester deep sideline, no. Good effort, but it falls incomplete, and the pass was intended out there on this occasion for Charles Folse. Coverage applied by Terrence Dunbar, a freshman defensive back for Rummel. We're going to pick Ryan Richardson as our player of the game. Rummel fullback, who tonight just blocked great, scored twice, and did terrific for the Raiders as Jay Roth looks on. Well, you could pick any number of guys. You could almost pick the offensive line as a whole, and saw a lot of great blocks by Loya Kano, the sophomore tonight, among others. Screen set up to Sylvester. This play's been good tonight. Escapes one, but slips and goes down. Picked up about 7, maybe 8, but it will be 4th down, and some of the fans start to depart from Joe Yenny. Boy, Jefferson Parish on the East Bank, pretty good shape with Bonneville in the playoffs, East Jefferson in the playoffs, Rummel in the playoffs, of course John Curtis Christian in the playoffs. Country Day, you've got quite a few that have succeeded. 4th down, pitch to Sylvester, trying to get to the chains, and will for a 1st down at the 32. So the drive stays alive for the Trojans, but under 2 minutes to play. Here's Ryan Richardson, the senior. Boy, you have to be happy for him, Renee. He's overcome so much. What a fine young man, a captain for the Raiders as a senior, and just blocked extremely well tonight and scored twice as well.
I tell you, Ken, and I'm glad for his family. This kid, I've known this young man since he's 5 years old and had the honor and distinctive pleasure of being around him and being a part of his life. What a great young man he is. Represents everything good about high school sports.
From the 32, this will be a wraparound draw with Sylvester. Watch him run. He's got great speed. He could go 50, 40, 35, 30. Down at about the 25. Terrell Sylvester over 100 yards with a big-time run. He's a fine player, and he sure does have a promising senior year to come. 42 yards for Sylvester.
You can see Sylvester right here breaking out, showing what kind of ability he has, Ken. Turns on the afterburners and just runs away from everyone again. This is a guy who just scratched the surface, did not play in 97, but will be a gem in 99.
Brent Rapp pulled the stop with 1:22 to play. Counter play, they run it inside. Griffin has room, he might go. 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Central Lafourche. 26 yards, Darius Griffin, and the Trojans are on the board again.
Good inside blocking by Zarang, Ronnie, and Chasson. Escorted him into the end zone. Inside handoff right here, misdirection, and Griffin really running behind. Great blocking, runs away from the defensive backs, really right along the sidelines, going for 2 points.
And they make it off of a very unusual set catch, Rummel napping, and the 2-point conversion is good. And we don't have it for you, unfortunately. With 1:09 to play, it's 42-15. I assure you, they made a 2-point conversion. 42-15 now as Central Lafourche gets the 2-point conversion and cuts the Rummel lead to 27. We'll take the break. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. It's time we said enough is enough. Find out what you can do. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
Where have all the children gone? Long time passing.
Where have all the children gone? Long time ago.
Where have all the children gone? Gone to graveyards one by one. Oh, when will we ever learn?
This game is brought to you in part by Prime Equipment Company, distributors of man lifts, tower generators, scissor lifts, and more for commercial and industrial contracting. For all your lifting needs, remember Prime Equipment Company. Onside kick virtually sure to come here. They kick it on the ground, so it's not onside, and it gets away. It's still loose. Picked up by Velasquez, who wisely falls on. There's a penalty. That was not a very intelligent play. A little bit cheap, perhaps frustration on the part of the Trojans late. Players have to be separated. No call for that. Fortunately, everybody's okay. Velasquez took a pretty hard shot. Somewhat unnecessary there. As we look at the stadium clock, 55 seconds to play. Once you're down on this level. Don't need to be touched.
We have 2 dead ball fouls, personal fouls on the defense. They will be forced separately and in order of occurrence.
This is going to cost Central Lafourche 30 yards. First, the hit that you saw right here on Velasquez, who just fell on the ball, and once he's done so, the play's dead. Got by Adams, who slipped, but there's Velasquez to run it down. And here he is down, and watch this. I mean, that is so blatant. Whew. Wow, and then another, one of the other players picked up the flag and threw it away, and now another 15-yard penalty. You're going to have 3 unsportsmanlike penalties against Central Lafourche here, 3 of them. And this is nothing but frustration. The emotion, of course, of the game, producing this, and in many instances, perhaps careers coming to an end on the high school level, and that's very frustrating and disheartening. But this Central Lafourche team played hard tonight, had another good season in making the playoffs, and they'll be back, no doubt. Ross Smith will tell us about this one.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense, and we have an ejection.
We have an ejection. Player's been tossed out of the game for Central Lafourche. As a result of this one, so the Trojans will lose a player here, and they'll